All right. Working on going live here. Starting over. I was having some trouble, but I think we might got it figured out now. So I'm going to start over from the beginning. And that way it all makes sense. We don't have a gigantic pause in the middle. Hey, guys. Welcome to the live stream. If you're here, let me know in the chat. But as of right now, I'm working on getting this shared out to Facebook. Just having some fun and doing all the things. So, what is this Wednesday looking like for everybody out there? Anyone else doing some last minute IO prep and that kind of thing? Let's chat about it. So, um, live chat it is. Yeesh. Let me know how your Wednesday is going. And we're going to build this drone. Should be a super quick build, by the way. We shall see. Go from there. So, just about finished up here. Cool. All right. We are all set. I think I got the chat in front of me. So, if you got any questions, you can let me know along the way. But I'm building one of the new light switches. So, I had to restart this. But I'll just show you here. This is what the light switch comes, normal drone frame. It comes in a body kit. This is the normal version, not the mid-mount version. And then this is how the arms come. You get one extra arm. Every kit comes with 5 arms. These arms are 6 mil thick and incredibly durable. But there are some kind of nuanceical. Is that a word? Can we make that a word? There are some kind of funny ways that I build this frame just a little bit different than most people. And I just wanted to show you guys that, share it with you. So if I can find all the pieces, I think I might have knocked something around here and lost the little stack nuts. I'll have to steal them from an old kit here. Oh, man. What a day. I'm going to steal those nuts, 2 of them from this kit until I find the others. That way I'm not spinning the whole beginning of this stream looking for those parts. But Lightswitch V2, and yeah, super pumped about this frame. You guys saw, I made a post recently. This is what I had built up all my drones to look like because I was waiting for these frames to come in. Started flying this frame at Mayhem, absolutely freaking loved it. I was completely sold on the Lightswitch V2. That's why I didn't make the jump to the 49er. That, and I don't typically fly better with a lighter frame. That might be something I change my mind on in the future, but for now, that's kind of just the gist of what I'm going with. Sticking with the heavy frames. And by heavy frames, this is hilarious. This thing weighs like 59 grams. So it's 10 grams extra, and it's really, really well worth it. So the big thing that I do different compared to the stock deal, though, the first things first here, the stock light switch comes with 20 millimeter stack screws. I use 18 because I also don't use the stock standoffs. I use standoffs that are 3 millimeters shorter, and that's just because I don't need that height. I'm still on analog. I run a hybrid board. I'm not on HD, so I don't need all of that extra height. But let's just show you how this build goes. You do the stack screws first. So I've got my custom 18 millimeter stack screws. I typically get them started poorly. 2. Go. And when it comes to stack screws and just today I've literally built 10 frames. Well, that's not quite true, I guess. I've built like 7 frames today. Because 2.5 of them were already built. But, alright, so I get them started kind of like that, and then we break out the power tools with this guy here. So, use my 2mm driver. I have an extra. There it is. I like to hold my what am I doing? I'm doing 2mm driver. 3mm nut driver. Hold that in my left hand, and with my right hand, we got the power tool here with the 2mm driver on it. Just let those dudes rock. Hopefully without stripping them out. Which these have nuts, so it's not as big of a deal if you strip them out. Any screw with a press nut, though, you do not want to strip that sucker out. I really have to be so careful. And I still fail sometimes because I have these man hands, and I just make things so freaking tight, I guess. Sometimes they don't want to go out, but have you guys seen the Lightswitch V2 kits? What do you think about them? Anyone else going to make the switch? There we go. Are you flying the 49er? What is your frame of choice at the moment? I think this is actually the hardest part of the whole build. Right there. And it's over. We got it done. So that's in like that. After that, flop it upside down and put these little horizontal pieces. This is new in the middle. And shout out to Leviathan with his fancy battery straps. The nice thing about this frame is you don't have to do this now. You can install the battery strap after the fact, but it's just a little easier to do it during the build process. So that goes in there, and this is the whole thing about why we chose to put Callie on this frame. These arms just go in super easy. So you slot it in. Stick a screw there so it's ready. Get the second arm. Slot it in. Stick a screw there because it's easy. That one. I made a comment that you can literally do one-handed arm swaps. And I know this isn't an arm swap, but look at this. The original Lightswitch had gotten pretty difficult to do arm swaps on. I think there was a arm redesign at some point. I'm not sure if that's what made it difficult, but it got nearly impossible to do arm swaps. One sec. Alrighty. That middle screw did not go in quite right. Got a little cross-threaded. Got a little too aggressive with the power tools, I guess. There we go. Like a glove. Now, why do these screws get stripped out? I'll never know. All right. All right, arm number 3. Get the screw started. Arm number 4. Get the screw started. And then here we go. Easy. Try not to over tighten. It's getting a little low. That press nut got hot. All right, so they're going to check this out. Just absolutely rock solid, this thing. Love, love, love this frame. And while we're down here, I always just put a little bit of sticky battery pad on the bottom. And voila. Just want to leave that on. I like to leave the plastic on so it doesn't stick to everything. Oop, and I put the battery strap in upside down. That's funny. So you get to see how easy it goes in now. Look at this. Yeah, that's great. So it's little creature comforts that make a huge difference. Now, if you use a big fatty strap, it's a little tougher, and you'll probably want to take the bottom plate off. But for this, that's the way I do it. And then standoffs. My special 20 mil. And I'm going to try to do this as fast as possible. So if you have questions, let me know in the chat. But need to help my wife with something real quick. So we're going to do the fastest drone build in the history of drone builds. Luckily, I already did all the hard work. So here are these little snake setups. Hobby wing stacks is what I'm rolling with. Callie's running fox ear stacks. I'm going with the hobby wing. Literally like a glove. Everything fits so nicely in this frame. I've gotten lazy and started doing just 2 nuts on my stack. Pop that on. Back to my nut driver here real quick. There we go. So I already had this soldered up. Oop. I like to put my camera cable under my FC. It's a little something I do. Hey, Amari, go to the battery strap. I definitely need to order some. Yeah, battery strap. Go to battery strap. So these are the Leviathan battery straps. I don't know if he has more, but I hit him up. They're expensive, but they're essentially the RJX ones. The same essential model as what we got for Freedom Spec, but they're longer. They're big enough for 6S now. So I run those. Callie likes these. She did not want to run the Leviathan strap. I guess she's not a fan. I don't know what the deal is. But these come from Tiny Sleds. This is the only thing I will buy from there. But these are some chonkin straps. But for Freedom Spec, if you're not worried about weight, then that would be the way to go. So yeah, either reach out to Leviathan or maybe those Tiny Sled straps. But yeah, it's, you know, battery straps is kind of a hole right now. Like I just realized I put this in backwards. If you don't know, all the Lightswitch frames, V1 and V2, feature the shame strain relief system, the SSRS. And that is on the back of the frame here. You see these 2 little notches underneath, right up there, underneath the power leads. That's so you can zip tie your XT60 and everything down and keep your wires from putting unnecessary stress on the ESC. If your battery ejects and you know you got your battery hanging there, it's just a little bit of strain relief to keep your ESC healthy and happy. Yes. Levi's in Dubai. Oh, man. And I wonder, he might not even come back to his house before I.O. Or is he going to I.O.? What's the status there? And did his dad go? Maybe his dad's shipping straps for him? I do not know the answer to that. But yeah, the Leviathan strap or the Tiny Sled straps. Golly, are the way. And I'm really messing myself up here by trying to do this fast. So I took this apart to put the camera cable under the FC. And when I did, I noticed that I'd put the whole thing on backwards. And then, so I fixed the fact it was backwards, but forgot the camera cable under the FC. And there it is, it's back. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that sim race goes in Dubai. I've actually, the DRL did a in-person sim event this year. It was super cool. So I look for that one to be super cool as well. So since I run those shorter standoffs, on the Lightswitch Thingiverse page, there is a 20 millimeter tall Predator V2 camera mount that I use. It actually took me a while to find that, but it's there on the page. I was just being dumb, and I printed off a few of what I thought was the right one, but they were the taller ones, and those would be disappointing. So fits like a glove. There's the camera mount, and then what I've been doing is I've been running regular no brand wire motors on the front, and then on the back I'm running race wire that I can put LEDs on, so that I'm Freedom Spec legal. And then for multi-GP, then I just have to add an LED to the underside of the quad too. Just makes it super duper easy. I don't put the LEDs on there though until I need them, because they do get torn up. I use those Cobb LEDs, and they're great, but they're very, very fragile. So due to my man hands constantly stripping motor screws, or all the screws, I've switched to these 2.5 mil headed big boy motor screws. They work well and are just extra strong. Once again, we got Callie, who's learning to work on quads. I'm real worried about her stripping screws, so if you look, that type of screw, like those are much less likely to strip, in my opinion. Just a little hardier. And then I like to order 10 mil screws, so they got a lot of bite into the motor. There's nothing tighter than cross-threaded. You are so right, Mr. Amari. So right. Been chatting with Amari a bit. He's gearing up for the Freedom Spec Series, the Tour. He's going to be hitting up a bunch of the dates. So if you want to race against one of the top spec racing pilots in the world in Amari, then that is your chance. If you don't know, he got third in the DRL season this year, the Drone Racing League, just behind Min Chan and Halo Walker. Amari had a phenomenal end of the season in Miami. Absolutely owned Miami. Had a front row seat to all those races, which was sick. And that's the reason why I work as a drone runner. Stoked to see Christian and his dad Bill at I.O. We're sharing an RV site, so that should be a good time. If you go to I.O. and stay in a hotel, you're doing it wrong. You gotta stay on the grounds, for sure. But yeah, love this frame. Love how easy it is to build. Love how it goes together, just so nice. That was probably the big thing that they had room to improve on at 533 from the V1, was just how the build experience was. And then this is kind of a cool thing. So since I'm lazy, here's all my top plates for the quads I built today. The Lightswitch V1 top plate fits. So instead of ripping this, VHB off and running the chance of breaking my hybrid board, I'm just going to leave it on that one and swap it over here. So literally just plug this sucker in. I number all my quads, even though there's no like traditional team racing at IO this year. I always number my quads. That's primarily for when I'm trying to fix something. It's easier to identify which quad was broken. Oh, and then you guys are going to kick out of this. I'll show you what turtle fin I'm using. There's that. That screw is much longer than it needs to be. And then this turtle fin is a throwback to like 2019. Our buddy RaceBot designed these for the Proton. I'm literally using the same print because I was too lazy to make a new one. But these, in my opinion, are the most effective and easy to print and reliable turtle fins that you can get. Check this out. It's literally just a strap that goes from one standoff on the top plate all the way across to the other one. And this is an absolute record build in regard to time. Pretty much done. There we go. Cool. And then this is a used power system, so these race wires already have used VHB on the bottom, so instead of replacing those, because it can be a bit of a pain in the butt, I'm just going to tape them down. Don't tell, because it's a little trashy, but at least it'll give us a little pop of orange on these back arms too. There we go. Wow, this is like legitimate, like all the way done. Mind you, I had all the soldering done. This was a solderless build. That's a blast. Isn't that funny? The handle turtle fin. It's just, they're so reliable, man. A lot of the new stuff, like it either comes off or they're short and they just don't have a lot of, good turtle action, these things. I will be able to turtle out of some cabbage with that turtle fin, so super stoked. All right. One more piece of tape. And if I had my scale, I would weigh it. But most of these have been coming in around 260 grams. So still incredibly light. Maybe 265 with the SMA. Oh, and I have to show you the shame strain relief system 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever Armando calls it. I appreciate it. But there it is like that. Ta-da. Let's find a little zip tie in my zip tie drawer. And if you had the Lightswitch V1, because of the way that the arms worked, you could put the little knob of the zip tie on the bottom here. Well, with the Lightswitch V2, the way that the arms slip in and out, you're going to want to put the knob of the zip tie on top. So you'll feed it in. Hope that makes sense. So before you would feed the zip tie in from the bottom, now you're going to want to feed it in from the top, so you keep the connector of the zip tie on the top of the mid plate, because if it's on the bottom of the mid plate, then it will keep the arms from sliding in and out. I found that out the hard way when I was trying to do an arm swap in the field, and I was like, oh duh, yeah, that makes sense. But as long as you put the nub of the zip tie above, there it is, like that, then you're totally fine. So instead of working on quads for IO, I'm watching you work on yours. You can do both. You can do both. I was really stoked about having Callie build all of her drones for IO, but she's at summer camp this week, and like I said, we just got the frames in, so looks like I'm going to do that. All right, here is the fancy pantsy shame strain release system. And I think this is important. It's a really good use of a gram or whatever a zip tie costs. There we go. And not only, so it's not just about like a rogue battery like pulling on your ESC. The other thing that it does is obviously your capacitors, the more that they wiggle and move, the faster they break off from your ESC. So by zip tying that capacitor down there and locking it all in, makes it super solid. So that's the build, guys. I've got the latest version of CAC on there. Got my ESC settings set up if you're curious. I run 24 timing. My PWM I run at 24 and 24 locked, or 2448 is what I run. And then ramp up power I've started running at 40%. So that's that. Otherwise, just the CAC, or not CAC, but the karate preset in Betaflight, and there she go, ready to be destroyed at I/O. So that's it. I'm gonna leave you all with that. Thanks for watching this little quick Lightswitch V2 build. A beautiful frame, incredibly solid and tough, and we're going to see how it holds up at I/O. So thanks for checking this out. We'll catch you next time on Heart of America FPV. Later.